Hello, my name is Luisa Neubauer. I'm a climate justice activist from Germany. Thank you so much for having me. In the beginning of 2020, I was 23 back then. Me and a dozen other youth climate activists, we filed a court case against our own government in front of the Constitutional Court. That was not something I ever planned on doing when I was 23. And it is not something that I took any kind of joy from. I'm a young democratic person. I want to be able to trust my government. And it's not something I'd ever aspire to do, to sue my own government. It should be a last resort. Yet after 1.5 years of continuing climate activist, of seeing how our government resists in taking science seriously and listening to scientists and economists worldwide and sticking to the Paris Agreement, we felt like this was some kind of last resort. And we also felt like it was our duty in that case to do everything we could do. Also, if that included going to court against our own government. And somehow, against all odds, 1.5 years later, we won. And there are 3 things that got me thinking ever since we won this court case against our German government in May. Firstly, that day that we got the message that we won this very unlikely case, the day when my entire street was filled with cable cars, my mom was screaming in the distance, and I had my phone ringing all day, and it was this amazing and incredible buzz everywhere. The activists in the movement, they stayed somewhat quiet for a time. And I wondered what it was that got these 13, 14, 15 years old activists alongside me. What got them so quiet? And I found out that they didn't know what the victory was. After all, they've been on the streets because they knew they had a fundamental right to climate justice. So a court claiming that there is a fundamental right to climate justice, wouldn't it just prove the status quo? I have been worrying about this for a long time, that children and youth who don't know their rights won't fight for them. But on that day I realized to the notion that people won't fight for their rights they don't know they have in the first place, there comes a second dimension, that is, people won't defend rights that they don't know are being under attack. And it is the responsibility of people involved in legal systems and court systems and any kind of law environment to inform people about the rights they have and the rights that are being under attack, that are being terrorized. What else could get people to fight for them? Secondly, I've been asked a lot ever since if the climate crisis will be brought to court now. And that's an odd question for me, given that right now the wrecking, the exploitation, the digging is in most cases somewhat legal. The climate crisis has always been happening at court because companies, industries, governments are only able to do what they do because they consider their activities to be embedded in a legal system. The climate crisis won't be solved at courts alone, but right now the climate crisis is being justified at courts not acting up, not interfering, allowing all that digging and that exploitation to keep on going. So I find myself in that weird spot that I have to justify myself in front of the Constitutional Court for wanting to grow old on a safe planet, while industries don't. And thirdly, I've been asked a lot what will be the role now of courts in the fight for climate justice. And you know, there won't be climate justice without justice. The movements worldwide, Fridays for Future and other movements, we will do a whole lot. We will be wherever we can be, and we won't give up on a single ecosystem, on a single community's livelihoods. We won't give up on any people. We won't give up on anything there is left for us to save, and there is so much that planet has yet to offer and that we will defend and fight for. But we won't be able to do that by ourselves. This is a job not for a single generation, but a job for everyone. And what we need are court systems, people involved in anything around legal fights, to step up the game, to interfere in all of those injustices happening, in all of that attacking of fundamental rights, of children's rights, of human rights, of women's rights, and all that attack that is happening on the backs of protesters, on the back of those who want to fight for a safe future, whose protests are increasingly made illegal. We need to not only defend the planet, but we need to be defended by, well, you. Thank you so much.